Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Alistair, the director of Hayward-Wright, who's grown the business to over 4 offices, employing over 30 staff. Welcome to the show.
Morning. Really pleased to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So tell me a little bit more. I saw initially you purchased the accounting firm. How did that kind of look like? Where was it? Like, what did you look at and what made you decide to let's purchase an accounting firm and then go from there?
Um, so it was always an ambition to have my own business. Most of my family come from a self-employed background in all kinds of different sectors. So I went through my accountancy training program, got my qualifications. During that period, I got a little bit frustrated with accountancy and exams, and I nearly went out and bought an IT business, but kind of at the last moment thought, no, look, you've invested a couple of years in this training already. Let's get the
Mhm.
last 12, 18 months out of the way, get the qualification, and then you can go off and do whatever you want at that point. So I finished my qualifications. Um, as a bit of a side hustle, I was selling some Sage software, so I was a Sage reseller. And I happened to be doing a Sage installation and training session for a local business. Got chatting to the MD there, and he mentioned that one of his neighbours in the village was looking to sell her
Yeah.
accountancy practice. Would I be interested? Well, yeah, absolutely. Have a look at that. So I popped down and saw them, had a long chat. If I'm honest, it was more a bookkeeping and payroll bureau than an accountancy practice at the time, which was absolutely fine. No issues with that at all. Kind of the owner and one part-time member of staff. But it was a great opportunity, and it was a great foundation to build from. Um, so I kind of begged, still, and borrowed money. Family lent me money, made that acquisition, and built it from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was kind of right time at the right place, coincidentally, as you were looking possibly for something like that.
That's it, exactly. It was very much a case of kind of the right place at the right time, and that MD of the it was quite a large property business who I was doing the Sage work for. He was really helpful, actually. He kind of, certainly in the early days, kind of gave me a lot of support and a lot of guidance and mentorship around that. So yeah, absolutely, just kind of the stars aligned, shall we say.
Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, that's really good. And then, so when you were looking to buy the business, how did you know, okay, this is going to be the right investment? Because I believe you hadn't purchased any businesses previously to that. So how did you know, okay, this is going to be worth putting my money into?
Um, I wish I could sit here. In some ways, I wish I could sit here and went, yeah, I sat down and I
Yeah.
went through the numbers. I considered everything. No, as a fairly overconfident mid-20-year-old, it was a little bit of a case of, yeah, let's just do it. Let's get this done, get this deal done. Let's get into the self-employed world. We'll worry about the problems later.
Nice. Yeah, just figure it
It
out
worked
as
out
you
all
go.
right, thankfully.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, sometimes you just got to jump in. I think a lot of people that want to start businesses, they overthink too much and they think too much of everything that can go wrong. And as a result, they never take that leap. So sometimes it is like you just got to take the jump and wing it.
You're absolutely right. As I say, it's a few years down the line, my mentality is similar. Yes, there's probably a few more controls and measures, and I've got a few more people around me that I've got to kind of consider a little bit. But you're absolutely right. I've seen I've seen far too many people kind of miss out on what could be great opportunities because they've just sat there, overanalyzed everything, overthought everything, and didn't make the leap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like I like the quote, fortune favors the bold.
Absolutely. Massive
Yeah.
fan of that.
And then so you bought the business. I believe you said there was like about 2 employees, was it? And
Once it was the owner. She kind of stuck around for about 6 months or so to help me out, and that was brilliant. And that was all agreed up front. This kind of
yeah,
6 month consultancy period. She then retired. One part-time member of staff who stayed with me up until um, middle of last year. Actually, she retired from my business middle of last year, so she came on this kind of 17-year journey with me, and was absolutely brilliant. So again, kind of first experience of managing staff. I'd never managed staff before. In the practice that I worked and trained in, it was a small practice. It was just, I was the trainee really. So I'd never managed staff. So that was a steep and interesting learning curve.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then, so you grew that and you've grown out to over 30 staff now. What was
Yeah,
that kind of like? Like what was the process to go from that to all the way to 30, over
that's
30?
been a that's been a roller coaster. A roller coaster of stress, emotions, everything. It's been incredible. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely brilliant. Um, we started out, or I started out, taking that small practice. Where I was really lucky was, as I said, it was more a bookkeeping and payroll bureau. So there was a lot of clients in there where we were just providing bookkeeping, or we were just providing a payroll, or maybe a mixture of both, but they were going off to another provider for the kind of the accountancy stuff and the advisory stuff. So that gave me a great opportunity to go and sit with those clients and just talk about the additional services that we could bring to them. And that was some really, really quick, significant wins in those early days, was to
Hmm.
convert a lot of those just payroll or just bookkeeping clients into full service clients.
Yeah.
Um, and that really kind of catapulted us in the early days. And again, I wish I'd be able to sit here and say, in some ways, I wish I could sit here and say, yeah, that was all part of the planning. But that kind of just happened, really. And again, a little bit of lady luck looking down on me, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so we grew, as I say, very, very strongly to begin with. We started to get referrals in. So, we provide a great service to that client. They then recommend us to their neighbor, their friend, their whoever. And that grew, and we were growing strongly. We were doing a bit of marketing early days. That did a bit, not huge amounts. And then I started looking for other accountancy practices to acquire. So I started looking for other accountants, relatively small, that were looking to retire, looking to exit. So we bolted another couple of those on. Again, came with more clients, came with more staff.
Mhm.
And it started to grow from there. And that's largely been the growth plan ever since, really, that mixture of organic and acquisition growth. And again, that continues to be the plan moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah. And then so with the staff that you have acquired, what was your process to find like high quality staff? Because I find that's one of the things a lot of businesses struggle with, finding the right talent to bring into their business. Did you have a process for that?
Yeah, we've developed that, and it's a work in progress. It's a continually evolving program. Um, as I said, very early on, I'd never managed people. I'd never recruited. It was some tough learnings in the early days. I brought some members of staff in. I brought a member of the team in who I'd worked with previously, and went through a really, really bad experience with that. So the guy came on board, was great to begin with, but then had some personal challenges. Possibly didn't deal with those in quite the right way. It started to impact work. That
Mm.
was a horrible experience to have to try and effectively let somebody go that you'd worked with previously, had quasi become a friend kind of thing, and to feel really, really let
Mm.
down by them. So some really tough learnings early on. But
Yeah.
that just builds you, it just evolves, and lets you evolve your program, I suppose. Um,
Mm.
yeah, finding good quality staff is really tough. It's one of the reasons that we continue to acquire practices, because when we're acquiring businesses, we're not only looking at the client bank that we're acquiring, we're also looking at the staff that we're acquiring, because we're looking for good staff. Because to try and attract good staff is really, really tough. And as I say, that's an ongoing process for us at the moment, and we're continuing to invest in that program and to try and offer more and more to our team, both kind of monetary, but in other ways as well, additional benefits, but also in training, and trying to bring them and upskill them, because the rate of change within our industry, and everything that's coming at us over the next few years, we've continually got to upskill staff. And I find
Yeah.
that quite passionate as well. We bring a lot of trainees through our business as well, and that's a particular passion of mine. I feel I got a great opportunity with a small accountancy practice to give me a really, really solid, broad foundation to work from. And I kind of I kind of want to give that back as well.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have pretty big growth goals now. You want to take this to 10 million turnover in the next 3 years. So what's like the game plan for that? Because I imagine that's a lot of stuff is going to be involved to get to that. I think you said it's like what over 300% growth that you're
It,
looking for. Yeah.
It is, and it sounds when you kind of put the headline, and we did this with our team. We put this idea in front of our team about 6 7 months ago, and it does that headline figure seems almost unbelievable in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
But the accountancy industry in the UK is shifting massively at the moment, and there's a huge amount of consolidation, and there's a huge amount of opportunity to acquire practices. I've got the longest pipeline of potential acquisitions that I've ever had in my whole career at the moment, and more being added to it almost on a weekly basis. Almost every other day, I'm getting a phone call or an email from somebody saying, "Oh, such and such wants to talk," which is brilliant, and that's probably the bedrock for where these growth plans are going to come from. So we're looking for 2 to 3 acquisitions a year for the next 3 years.
Wow.
And that comes, you're absolutely right, comes with huge challenges. We're looking for slightly more established practices, so they've got a kind of a foundation, they've got some structure in place as well. So it makes the it I won't go as far as to say that it makes the integration easier, but it makes it more structured. We have to be really careful about culture. We feel that within our practice, we've built a really professional but relaxed family feel, and that's what I want to retain, and I don't want to lose that. So we're very conscious of that when we're looking at acquisition opportunities. And as I say, if we work on kind of 2 to 3 a year, plus some really strong organic growth as well, we've bolstered our marketing team massively. There's been a slight brand refresh. There's been a new website which has been built very much with the SEO in mind, built from the ground up, starting with SEO, and that only launched 2 weeks ago,
Wow.
and we're already seeing a huge spike in traffic.
Mm.
So the combination of those two is what we see
Yeah.
driving those numbers. And actually, um, as you put structure around it and you start to build that pipeline of organic growth and the pipeline of acquisition growth, actually it doesn't look anywhere near as daunting as maybe that headline first looks.
Mm. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're going to be busy these next couple of years with a lot of things.
I think that's it. I think I've kind of taken the view that, some look, don't get me wrong, I've always worked hard and I've always work. I love what I do at the end of the day. So again, the idea of having the next 3 years of a real push on, a real step up is really exciting. And then who knows? We'll see what happens there. But I might want a little bit of a break there.
Yeah, 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 definitely, I imagine. And then when we spoke last as well, you said one of the things that you guys want to like be aware of and keep improving as well is your tech stack and adapting with the changes in AI. So tell me a little bit more about that and what are you guys doing in terms of that?
Absolutely. That's key for us moving forward. And we're very, very conscious that actually of what that looks like for us. So
Mm,
we try and stay ahead of the curve a little bit with fintech in general. So we spend a lot of time working with the major players in that market and the up and coming new startups as well. We're very aware of what's going on and keeping an eye on that and seeing how that can fit within our
mm,
within our practice. I'm very conscious. I came from a bit of a tech background. My dad worked in technology and IT for many, many, many years, so I kind of grew up with that kind of background. Um, I'm very conscious that actually, for me, tech has to fit and has to solve a real problem.
mm,
There's I stumble across stuff all the time where I go, well, actually, what's this actually fixing? What's the actual point in this? And we try and filter that out very quickly, so that we're concentrating and spending our time and investing our time and money in what we think's really got legs with it. Um, so that's one part of it. We then have to consider how that affects the team as well. And it actually has an impact on our recruitment policy as well, because we're looking for people to join the practice that kind of three facets really is we need the technical skill set, although we can train the accountancy tech, absolutely, but we need someone who's got an interest in numbers, somebody who wants a career in accountancy. We then need somebody who can communicate with clients and I always say to people, I said, look, you could be in a boardroom presenting to a board of 12 directors, let's say today. Tomorrow you might be chatting with Bob in a traditional metal bashing manufacturing business. The next day it could be Sue in a creative agency. And you've got to kind of present the same information, but to three very different types of people. So we're constantly
Mm.
looking for people who can um, who are good in that arena, and we train that as well. We've got a whole training program around kind of interpersonal skills as well. And then equally now we're looking for people who've got that tech savvy approach as well, because I'm always looking for people who enjoy a bit of tech, who will experiment with stuff and will try new stuff. Because as we bring new tech ideas into the practice, you need people to kind of embrace that and run with it and go, yeah, actually, we see how this could add value, or oh, no, not quite sure with that and how that can work. So recruitment's tough as it is, but to try and find that as well is really tricky.
Uh-huh.
Some of the AI stuff that's coming down the line is fascinating. Even that begins even to push my boundaries of kind of understanding of where we're going with it. So
Mhm.
that's daunting, but again, really, really exciting.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's an element of of navigating to find the stuff that's got basis and can really, really add value, as it were.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And especially with how expensive some softwares are, you really want to make sure you're going to get that ROI on that software and you don't, and especially, and then you also just forget about the software. You buy it and then it kind of just every month the money's still coming out, you're not using it. And yeah.
That's a huge bugbear of that, and we're very conscious because we've not been caught out by it because I get it completely, but we've been early adopters of certain pieces of software which, on the face of it, appeared very, very good value for money, but then as you get embedded and as that becomes kind of part of your key part of your tech stack, price starts to creep up. And that's always a difficult one. That's always a real challenge. We shifted a piece at one of our key pieces of software that we use internally and externally to a degree our OCR software, so our software we use to capture invoices, receipts, that kind of stuff. We've made a shift on that about 12 months ago from a big provider to an up and coming provider. Been great, but the change was difficult, really difficult.
Yeah, that's also the thing. Yeah, learning how to use the new softwares and the
That's it.
the the cost of changing things. And I know we're starting to run out of time here, so let's finish on. I like, especially while we're talking about tech, if you could get like a magic AI bot into your business to do whatever you needed it to do, what function would you get it to do? What's to
Oh,
fix or to do?
that's a brilliant question. Um, for me, what I would we're looking at all kinds of different things and looking at areas where we've kind of got probably three or four key areas where we feel we're not as efficient as we could be. I think the one within there that stands out for me at most, because it's one of the things that keeps me awake at night, is compliance and AML and that whole risk assessment stuff.
Yeah.
We have a process and it works, but I'm convinced there's some real opportunities in there to not only make it a more efficient process and a more seamless process from a client or a prospective client's point of view, but also just to give us some real security around that compliance stuff and make sure that we're on top of our game with that because it is so important in this day and age.
Yeah. So is that like something kind of like a chat GPT, but for compliance? So rather than having to spend a lot of time finding information, you just plug it into that type of thing?
That exactly that. It's about
Yeah.
something that could kind of go and do a load of research for us, present us a report, as it were, around what the background of a company, a background of the directors, and kind of highlight areas that maybe we need a human to interact and go, okay, let's go and double check
Mm.
that. Let's go and
Yeah.
make ourselves comfortable with that bit rather than having to look at the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And you said there was like a couple other ones as well. So you got this one. Um,
Yes, we got that one around the compliance. We're bolstering our onboarding process, just making that we've always used kind of electronic ID verification and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
capturing sign-on information and capturing previous accountant information. But we just think we can make that a little bit slicker for the client, and
Yeah.
that's more around the client journey on their
Mm.
onboarding process with us.
Yeah.
Um, we're also looking at some stuff around kind of knowledge base and understanding. We get a lot of, and as you scale the practice, obviously a lot of the questions that come from clients and ad hoc queries that come from clients largely have the same basis point, largely have the same, um, might be the same place of key information. So it's what bit of that can we automate to really give quick answers to clients on
Mm.
common
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
um, without it feeling like it's that, you're just shoving the client, because we're very, very, very client focused. We're very, we like to be involved with the client. We like to help the
Yeah.
clients out. But how can we kind of make our lives a little bit easier, get a quick answer to the client, but without it feeling like they're just being pushed away into an
Yeah.
electronic world?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I've seen a couple of pretty powerful stuff around that. Like a few of the softwares I use, it's
Mm,
they don't have even live chat anymore. It's just I talk to an AI bot and it's
yeah.
better than talking to a human. It's just like they get the answer right. It's super quick. So yeah, it's definitely possible something like that. It's helped. Yeah, I
Uh,
really like it.
yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. That could be brilliant for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know we're out of time here. It's been great chatting. If you could keep going, it's like really interesting what you got going on and you got big growth goals, which is awesome. Where can people find you to learn a little bit more about what you guys do?
Absolutely. No, thank you. Really, really exciting times moving forward. Website, as I say, I'm really pleased with the website. Newly launched website at www.haywardwright.co.uk. So to take a look at that. We're generating a huge amount of content that's being added to that all of the time. So that's really exciting. Also on our socials, we're quite strong on LinkedIn, both the firm and myself, Alistair Hayward-Wright on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on, sharing your story. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.